The version of fruitcake that I am showing you today is slightly different from that because it has a fluffy and moist already texture after being baked. So we can eat it right away and there is no need to wait for 3 weeks to apply alcohol. So, the first thing that we need to do is to prepare the dried fruits. You can choose any kinds of fruits you like. Here I go for raisins, cranberries and some dried apricots. If the fruits are too big, for example in my case, the apricots are a little bit too big, we cut them into small pieces. I would say the same size as the raisins. Next, pour the alcohol of your choice into the bowl. We need enough alcohol that the fruits are completely submerged. When the fruits are already submerged, tip the mixture into a strainer with a bowl underneath to catch the liquor. We set the fruits aside so that they can get drier and we save the liquor for later use. The next thing to prepare are the nuts. Again, you can choose any kinds of nuts that you like. I have walnuts, almonds and some pine nuts here. Chop them into small pieces, scatter them on a baking tray and roast in a preheated oven at 160 degrees Celsius for about 5 to 7 minutes. This step helps to deepen the nuts' flavor, but keep an eye on the nuts as they can be burned if being left in the oven for too long. Before preparing the cake batter, preheat the oven to 160 degrees Celsius. Add all of the butter into a mixing bowl. Make sure that the butter is already softened but not melted. We cream the butter with some salt at medium speed until the butter turns smooth. Then we start to add the sugar in, but only in small portion. And we want to beat until the sugar is incorporated into the butter before we add some more sugar. When all of the sugar has been added, raise the speed to high and continue beating until the butter is very fluffy and light. And while beating the butter, do not forget to turn off the mixer from time to time. To scrape the butter off from the side of the bowl, add the eggs into the bowl, one at a time. And beat at low speed until the egg is totally incorporated into the butter before adding the next one. And finally we can add in some flavors. Here I use some vanilla extract, almond essence and orange essence because I really like the combination of these three. Mix well and scrape the side of the bowl again. Shift into another bowl the flour, baking powder, cinnamon powder, and ginger powder. Whisk well until everything is combined. Then combine the yogurt and milk in a bowl. Separate this yogurt and milk mixture into 3 parts and the flour mixture into 4 parts. Shift the first quarter of flour into the bowl and mix at low speed until just incorporated. We do not want to overmix the butter because it will make the cake dense and heavy. Then add 1/3 of the milk mixture and combine. Continue adding the flour and milk alternately until the last milk portion has been added to the butter and we have the last quarter of the flour mixture remained. Mix the fruits and nuts with this remaining flour so that the fruits and nuts are all covered by the dry flour. Then transfer the fruits and nuts to the bowl of the cake batter and fold them in. Scrape the butter into a baking pan. If your pan is not a non-stick pan, do not forget to grease it with butter and coat with flour, so that the cake won't stick to your pan after being baked. Smooth the surface, and if you want, you can put some almonds on top to decorate the cake like I do in the video. As I still have some butter left, I think I can make some Christmas fruit cupcakes. Bake this cake at 160 degrees Celsius for about 50 to 55 minutes, then at 150 degrees Celsius for 10 minutes more. Rotate the pan after 30 to 35 minutes so that the cake can be evenly baked. After about 35 minutes my cupcakes are done. So, I take them out of the oven and leave just the large cake pan there. I also use a sheet of aluminum foil to cover the top of my cake because it turns dark quite fast. And after about 65 to 70 minutes, when a skewer inserted into the cake center comes out clean and dry, we can take the cake out of the oven. Let the cake stay in the pan for 10 minutes before taking it out and let it cool completely on a rack. Do you remember the liquor from the dried fruits that we saved before? We are gonna use them here. So, when the cake is still warm, we brush all over the cake with the liquor, and believe me, this will enhance the flavor of the cake a lot. This cake can be eaten right away, but if you want to keep it in the fridge and apply more alcohol for some weeks, then my suggestion is to bake it for about 20 minutes longer. In that case it will get drier and absorb more alcohol, and hence the flavor will be more developed. This is the cake that I made 4 weeks ago, and every week I let it drink alcohol at least twice. Would you like to try a piece? I hope you have enjoyed watching the video on fruit cake. Share this video on social media sites like Twitter, Google+, and Facebook to spread this information to more people. Please do not forget to subscribe our channel to watch more informative videos to learn and live better. Thank you very much.